Alrighty guys, hello and welcome back to the show. Hope you guys had an amazing Easter weekend. If you guys celebrate Easter, had a great time with the family, went down and had dinner with my mom, her husband. It's a great relaxing weekend. Hope you guys had a similar relaxing holiday weekend. Today we are going to be doing a deep dive into the Seraphim Commander. So let's go ahead and get into it. So we're not going to be rehashing all of the base stats because by and large they're mostly the same. 100 damage per second, same build power, same build range. All of that's in the name of balance. The only primary difference here is going to be the 11,500 HP pool that the Seraphim Commander has, making it tankier than the Cybran, but not quite as tanky as the UEF Commander. So sitting in that kind of middle of the road with initial HP pool. Let's get into the upgrades, which is where things will get a little bit different between the various commanders. So on the right arm, we're going to start off with that because it's the most simple. We have the Chronotron accelerator. This is very similar to the Cybran gun upgrade. It doubles the damage per second by doubling the fire rate. It also increases the range to 30. So not very different from the Cybran gun upgrade. Costs 800 mass and 24,000 energy. It's a great early gun upgrade. Allows your commander to pretty quickly and easily tear through enemy T1 units. The next upgrade available for this slot is the Resource Allocation System, RAS, or the Advanced Resource Allocation System, or ARAS. So this is our first com that we've looked at that has Advanced Resource Allocation System, which is an upgraded version of the initial RAS system. So the RAS and the ARAS systems have identical costs at 5,000 mass and 175,000 energy. They provide 16 and 32 mass respectively and 2,000 and 4,000 energy respectively. So they basically just takes the initial RAS upgrade and doubles it, and then you have ARAS. So the option that you can continue to advance the resource allocation system makes this upgrade path a little bit more compelling, especially if you're not looking to fight with your comm and you're playing on a map like you're playing the air slot on Settins or you're playing dual gap or something similar, which is why we see a lot of players, especially on dual gap, going for the ARAS upgrade. Next is going to be the back. So the first upgrade available in this slot is the teleporter. Costs 1.5 million energy and 15,000 mass to create. Allows your ACU to teleport. This is another upgrade that I think is pretty situational because you don't have laser available to you like you do with the Cybran. So there's not a great way with the Seraphim to quickly laser down an enemy's commander. But the other Seraphim gun upgrade is really strong. But I don't really see tele Seraphim snipes very often, if at all. So we'll see how viable this actually gets. I might do a video on whether or not on the Seraphim gun upgrade with teleport and a resource breakdown comparing it to the tele Mazer snipe. But either way, it does have a teleporter that is available to it. So something that you can use to hide your commander, make it a little bit more difficult to find. Next in this slot is going to be the tactical missile launcher. Costs 1,500 mass and 50,000 energy. This gives you a tactical missile that you can launch at your enemies that deals 6,000 damage with a 256 unit range. This can be especially memey because if you have an upgraded construction suite on your commander and you use either engineers or SACUs to support, you can turn your comm into kind of a tactical missile machine gun, which is always really, really funny. Assuming you have the resources to support it, you can really crank these missiles out really, really fast. Next in this slot is going to be the Nano / Advanced Nano repair. The basic costs 1,800 mass and 56,000 energy. The advanced is much more expensive though, at 5,800 mass and 450,000 energy. We'll see why the advanced is so much more expensive in a second. To start off with the first one, it gives you 60 health regen per second and a 15% bump in overall HP. This is a little bit better than the UEF Commander, which gives you 40% HP regen, but it does scale based on the actual cost. So it's a little bit more expensive than the UEF Commander upgrade. The Advanced Nano Repair gives you a freaking 150 regen rate and an additional 60% in your HP pool. This upgrade turns your commander into a really, really tanky unit, almost on par with a Monkey Lord in terms of HP. With 10 energy storage and overcharge, you can actually bring a Monkey Lord down to about a quarter health with just the commander and no support units. So looking at this Nano / Advanced Nano Repair and how much it'll actually bump up your overall HP pool, I'm starting to think the teleport might be a little bit viable with just how tanky the commander is. But like I said, we'll save that test for another video. The left arm, moving on to our last slot, is we start off with the Refracting Chronotron Amplifier. This slot, the left arm, is where the Seraphim gets much different than other commanders, I think, because a lot of these skills or these add-ons to the ACU are 100% unique. So we'll start with the second gun upgrade for the Seraphim. This costs 5,400 mass and 270,000 energy. So this gives your gun an additional 620 damage, and this is affected by fire rate. So if you have the basic gun upgrade, it will increase your overall DPS to a pretty high 1,440 damage per second. This is also a splash damage, so it gives an AoE effect with 2.7 radius. So this will give your gun, it's instead of taking the Cybran route where it's a high amount of damage concentrated to one particular area, this takes a still very high amount of damage and spreads it out with a 2.7 unit radius. So this is a very, very powerful gun upgrade, but that's why it is as expensive as it is. Next upgrade available for this slot is the Regen / Advanced Regen Field. So this allows your commander to repair units in the field, and this is a very unique tech to the Seraphim. The basic and advanced costs 700 mass, 18,000 energy, then 18,000 mass and 42,000 energy respectively. As far as how this upgrade works, the math here is a little bit advanced, and I tried to make sense of the unit classes as far as the actual values in GitHub, as well as looking at what it actually looks like into practice. So this is my best shot at how this works under the hood, and I'm probably wrong because, hell if I know what I'm doing here. But it uses a floor and ceiling regen rate applied to the different tiers. So at the very floor with the basic upgrade, you can expect a minimum of 3 HP per second repair rate. The ceilings are at tier 1, 10 HP per second, tier 2, 15 HP per second, tier 3, 25 HP per second, tier 4, 40 HP per second, and then support commanders get 30 HP per second regen. So the ceilings are as high as the regen rate can go, and the reason why the ceiling is put in place is there is a multiplier that gets applied to the existing unit's regen rate, as best as I can understand it. So what dictates the rate then is this 1.1 multiplier applied to said existing regen rate. So for example, if you have a tier 1 unit that has 5 HP regen per second because it is vetted, it will have a 5.5 regen rate. And I'm probably misunderstanding this, but I believe that this is actually how it works after looking at how this actually looks in practice. The rapid restoration rates are a little bit different, with the floor at 15 regen and the ceilings at 20 HP per second at tier 1. Tier 2 is 50 HP per second, tier 3 is 120, tier 4 is 240, and the support commander ceiling is at 140 HP per second. So the multiplier is 1.2 per second at this for this particular system. So you get a higher multiplier, higher ceilings, and a higher floor. Which makes this a very efficient way to repair units in the field. So I almost never see this upgrade gotten, and I'm not sure if it's just I'm not really paying attention, but because it's not something that you see really quickly in a game. Like, it's not something like a gun upgrade where you immediately see an ACU firing faster. But as best as I see it, I don't see this upgrade gotten a whole lot, and I'm not 100% sure why, because this is an incredibly efficient way to repair units that are in the field. So with the basic one costing 700 mass, you can very, very quickly pay that back with repairing Ilshivas on the front line. And this is the only way that's really mass efficient to repair units on the front line, as repairing them with engineers, things like that, are not efficient, and they also take forever to actually do it. So this might be a new Chronotron, and it's not Chronotron. I can't remember what the Aeon upgrade, gun upgrade is now that we see gotten all the time now, where it applies an EMP. Tune into the Aeon upgrade where we break that one down. But this one might be one of those dark horse upgrades that we almost never see gotten, that is extremely good and extremely viable. So I'm gonna have to play a couple of games and test this one out. The games that I've played as Seraphim, they always end up ending before I'm able to actually get this regen upgrade and to test it out. Construction tier upgrades will round out this particular slot. These are very similar to the other ACUs, but we'll break them down still. Tech 2 costs 800 mass and 21,000 energy, gives you a bump in HP of about 15%. Tech 3 is 2400 mass and 50,000 energy, gives you a bump in HP of about 24%. So now that we've got all the stats down, let's go ahead and walk this into a conclusion. So the Seraphim Commander has really blown me away here for two primary reasons. Firstly, it has an extremely flexible build process that allows you to upgrade both combat, that allows you to upgrade all of the above: combat, build abilities, and nano repair. So this means that you can put your commander on the front line, build a firebase, make it extremely hard to kill, and allow it to repair very, very quickly. It is the only commander that we've evaluated so far that can get all three of these available upgrades. Second, a lot of the upgrades are extremely strong. To put this into perspective, and we talked about this a little earlier, we can compare the nano repair. The UEF nano repair gives 40 regen, but the Seraphim gives 60 regen. And we see a lot of similar upgrades like that with the Seraphim Commander. That being said, a lot of the Seraphim upgrades that are stronger are also more expensive, but you can see that the upgrades that are built out for the Seraphim Commander are really optimized to making it a very viable fighting unit on the front line, which I think is unique to the Seraphim. So to wrap this up, the Seraphim Commander is 100% a unit that you need to be using for combat and for pushing, unless you're on a map where it makes absolutely no sense to do that, i.e. Settings, Thermo. Those are probably the only two I can think of off the top of my head where, and even Settings, if you're in the forward slot, you would use your commander for combat, but the other three, not necessarily as much. So the Seraphim Commander, because of its upgrade path, is definitely something that you should not be just leaving in your base, because it has the ability to build forward fire bases. It has the ability to build forward construction capacity. It has the ability to get begun upgrade and stay relatively unkillable with nano repair. So this is not a commander that you should just sit in your base and use it for its build power. That is going to be a waste for this particular faction. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys learned something. I know I sure as hell did, and I will see you guys in the next one.